Well, tonight, the U.S. men's soccer team takes on Belgium in the round of 16 in the World Cup. And a lot of the talk leading up to the game had been how the U.S. leading scorer, Flo Balogun, would not be able to play after receiving a controversial red card in the previous match. But that all changed after President Trump got involved.
He didn't do anything wrong, and he's our best player or one of our best players. A very vital player, and he gave him a red card. I didn't know what that meant. I didn't think it meant much. Then I started hearing that that means he can't play in the next game, at least in the next game. Yes, I asked for a review by FIFA.
Okay, joining us now is Sophia Cai, White House reporter with Politico, who has some behind-the-scenes reporting about how the White House was able to get Balogun back on the field. Sophia, thanks so much for being with us.
Absolutely.
And first, you write that the campaign to get Balogun back on the field started, quote, just minutes after that red card. You say the president himself placed the call. What did you find out?
So we know that Andrew Giuliani and Lutnick, that is Secretary Howard Lutnick, they were both at this match on Wednesday. And minutes after that match ended, Giuliani alerted President Trump of this red card. And that night, everyone, including U.S. soccer officials and U.S. government officials, activated to start this appeals process. And we know that Giuliani and Lutnick even offered White House lawyers to help in this situation. Of course, it was U.S. Soccer's legal team that put together the formal appeal and submitted it. But the White House was very involved, and it started on Wednesday and it went throughout Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday. Finally, the decision came out, and FIFA is telling us that the decision was made independently by the FIFA disciplinary committee.
And a lot of talk about that, and I know some criticism on that as well, and we'll get to that in a moment. But, you know, this is spanning several days. The president weighing in on this publicly. Talk to us about his role in all of this and what you learned there, Sophia.
So we know that the president placed a call to Gianni Infantino on Thursday, so a day after the match. We know that the president simply asked for a review and asked about the rules surrounding this red card decision. Now, Gianni Infantino, he listened intently, but he did not make any kind of promise and told the president that this was under review. So several days passed. Now, we don't know exactly what has happened, but what we do know is that the head of FIFA's legal department, Emilio Garcia, was involved in advising Gianni Infantino of the options. And then there was the 16-member disciplinary committee that was involved in making the final decision.
How unusual is it for a U.S. president or another world leader to become directly involved in disciplinary action like this involving a player during a widely watched sports game?
It is very unusual. And President Trump is not even a soccer fan. I should say he's not someone who watches the matches and knows all the players and comments on the play-by-play. In fact, today in the Oval Office, he said, I didn't even know before this what a red card is. And yet he is commenting on whether or not he thinks that it was fair. He says, I'm very good at this. This is all very unusual. But then again, the relationship between the President Trump and President Gianni Infantino is also very unusual. And that's a relationship that spans 8 years back to Trump's first term in office when the U.S. was awarded the right to host the World Cup.
So they've been in talks for some time here, you know, and let's get back to the criticism now that you alluded to earlier. Some say, of course, this is outside influence. Some say this blurs ethical lines. You know, Belgium challenge, that's being dismissed. How are critics responding?
I think critics are saying, look, regardless of whether the original red card decision was fair or not, the president of the United States should not be getting involved. And so, you know, there's one question of whether it was right to suspend the one match ban. And I think a lot of people agree that that was the correct decision. But I think when you overlay that on top of the president's call to FIFA, then I think people are saying, wait a minute, why did this decision happen?
Do we think this sets a precedent for future controversial rulings in major sports?
is happening next year. And so there's a lot of questions that's happening. And it's not just the president now that's weighing in. Secretary of State Marco Rubio has also said that this was the correct decision. He said he may even bring it up tomorrow at NATO when everyone is there, including Belgium.
That is just, you know, it's kind of fascinating. World leaders are people too. Game kicks off tonight at 8. Sophia, what should we be watching for next in all of this, besides apparently NATO?
I think we'll have to watch for, does Balogun play tonight and will he score? You know, ultimately also comes down to the soccer.
The game itself. Just got to watch the game. Let it play out. Sophia Cai, White House reporter with Politico. Great insight. Thank you so much for taking the time to share with us what you have been able to find out over kind of a fast-moving few days here.
Thank you.
All right, take care. And